Hi, my name is Habikia, and welcome to my testimony video. It's supposed to be like a one-take wonder, but for the last night, second guessed it. I felt it was too jumbled, so we're doing it again after everything. I might take it again, I don't know, but for now we're gonna go with the noggin. Anyways, today's video is testimony, baptism. That's kind of it. It is March 26th. So put it in calendars, guys. Special holiday once again with my birthday. And let's begin into how we even got here. So backtrack. February 5th, 2004. I was graced to this earth. Hello. And I was born to a family with two sisters, one older, one younger. Mom and dad, whole shebang. We were Lutheran, went to church every Sunday. Sunday's best. The stockings, the Mary Jane type of shoes, the whole 9 yards. And our church was very cliquey and like community based, which like community based good, cliquey not really, because everything for at least my family was like for show. You weren't really there to like be like followers of Christ. So, you know, I went to Sunday school, learned all the things I learned. Advent, Christmas, Epiphany, Lent, Easter, Pentecost, then we're back to Advent, and all the little Bible stories, you know, Noah the Ark, and all that jibber jabber. During this time of going to church every Sunday and coming back home, like we didn't go to church that Sunday, I experienced emotional, mental, and physical abuse that ended up with the physical abuse side, ended up my dad going to jail. I still kind of blank that part of my life. I'm not really sure the semantics of all that or the timeline. I just know that he was there and then he wasn't. Kind of it. When we were alone, it was just my mom. She tried to make us go back to church, and we didn't want to go back to church because we didn't want to go back to church. And also during that time, I was done with God, because after enduring all that abuse, I was praying in whatever way I knew how or what I was taught, like, God, like, save me, like, this is not my family, like, I was adopted, they stole me from my family, I was actually a well-known princess, like, I'm waiting for my Harry Potter day, I'm waiting for Princess Genovia, like, moment. Never got that moment. So me and God said, cut ties, never again. But like I said, she tried to force us to go to church. We went to other church camps, and every time I was there, it was just, you know, like, I felt the religious, I don't know, it's not trauma, but like the surge, like, oh, like, I'm so fired up right now, like, God, I need you, like, I see all the things I've done wrong, like, you got me. And then I was baptized, or I just chose to accept Christ in my life, because I've been baptized before. And like, infant little baby dress, the white, the dip for the congregation, the whole situation. But obviously when you're an infant, you can't fully accept Christ because you don't really have like a mind or a conscience, so I don't really think it counts. So I was mildly accepting Christ. It didn't really count. But while all this God thing's happening, my own world was going down. So while I was younger, and you also heard middle child, right? So I was never really seen, heard, just there. So I took it upon myself to create a character, an illusion, a perception, a mask to the world. I was reading books because I was a big reader, and watching movies and watching shows and seeing catchphrases, what that person did to become popular, what that person did to get bullied, and not doing that, and taking itsy bitsy pieces in from all that and applying it to my real life. So somehow, and some reason, I moved schools a lot. I'm not sure why, but I just did. And every time I was like, okay, new start, like, I gotta act it this way to get here, and meet those people, and get that way, and boom 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 to get to the highest social circle and do all that stuff. And that continued on to literally high school. So yeah, that's really good, being a people pleaser, and it's really anxious and stuff. That wasn't the best. And not just one son. Another one is when I was young, like, I really want to say like elementary, honest to God. I was at a family friend's house, and the son, who was apparently my like birth twin, I don't even know the semantics of that, she said, oh, I'll show you something. I was like, okay. Pulled the computer, bam, porn. I'm like, okay. I don't, my mind had a click. It had a click. And I fell deep down into pornography. And like many young children, read Wattpad. And then I was like, this isn't good enough. Started watching the videos. And then I was like, this isn't good enough. So I watched the anime version and all this stuff. And it was just a cycle, and I went in and out and in and out, and then even dabbled in masturbation. Nothing really happened, but I tried it, and that is a sin. And so then comes sophomore year of high school, and I was set to be, my mindset was, okay, people pleaser, we're gonna be a homecoming queen, everyone's gonna love us, we want validation, we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be loved. And a week before spring break of sophomore year, I felt nothing. I felt empty, I felt invisible, I felt like every day was a cycle. I did this at that time and that, and it happened every single day. And I just felt like, this is not worth it. Like, I'm done doing this. I'm just gonna stay home and just never come back. But that next week I was gonna go to Hawaii, so I was like, let me hold on real quick. And I did. Hawaii was, you know, the fruit of my labor of trying to be loved was not shown, so I felt excluded once again in Hawaii, the islands, which sucks, but you know, I was there, so I was somewhat happy in one way. But I came back home and COVID started immediately, and so now I had time to be alone with my thoughts, which is never a good thing. At that time, I completely shut down, like stayed in bed, really rotted, and dove headfirst into that pornography every single day. It was reading, watching, not writing, but like something. And I was just wasting away because I had nothing to live for anymore. School wasn't even going on. I had no friends in my own brain, and it was just a hot mess express. School started again, but I still felt, I felt nothing. And during that time, my little sister was going through her own moment, and watching her get the help and whatever she needed to get through her own thoughts was, I guess, hard to watch someone that you live with come to those terms like, oh, I don't want to be alive anymore. But then when you have those thoughts but you never actually vocalize them, and now seeing that someone did and they got help and you never did, wasn't great. But now we're into senior high school. Jump gut, y'all. And I set myself up again to be loved, seen, and heard. Big leadership positions. Everyone needed me every time of day. It was a no-break season. And so homecomings happened, and of course I had to plan homecoming. And after all was said and done, I crashed, burnt out, drained, depleted, no energy for anything. And so I went back to those sophomore year thoughts of, they don't need me, I'm good, life is not worth it anymore. I never did commit self-harm because I personally don't like pain, and I don't like marring my skin because I don't like seeing scars. That's a personal thing. But once again, I rotted, slept every day. When school was happening, I was asleep. And sometimes I had little moments like, oh, I need to go because I have to graduate, or these people might need me today because I have this responsibility. But slowly that thought of, I have this responsibility, someone needs me, started shrinking away slowly, and I was just falling more into, no they don't, they're fine without me, they can figure it out, I'm not that important, like I have no use. End-ish of senior year, with the help of a teacher and then some friends I made that year, I got the F up. And I finished high school and I graduated. Somehow, some way. Thankfully. Praise God. Truly, honestly. I graduated, and then summer started. Been, but a lot more. Got into drinking. I tried smoking. Wasn't any fun stuff. Like, I never felt anything from it. Like, it never filled me. So, I don't do it anymore. Well, drugs part, because, like, yucky. But drinking, a little more apprehensive to that. Throughout this 4 years of high school, there's a thing called Young Life. Surprise, my shirt. And it's just, I guess it's a group that tries to bring kids to Christ. like in high schools and middle schools. I think middle schools also have those too. And it's like in a fun way. So it's not like people at your door like, have you heard about Jesus? Like, and okay, bye, like you're my personal space. But like, they try to make these kids feel seen or things like that. So freshman year, I met this lady named Brooke. And I was like, hi, nice to meet ya. Cool, great. And she went out of her way that freshman year, or I think sophomore, I'm not too sure, to try to get to know me, like off the bat, like, so, like, what are you like? Like, what do you want to do? What's your interest? What's your history? What's your family history? Blah, blah. And I was like, why do you want to know this? She's like, I just feel like there's a mask on you, and I want to break through the mask. Oh my god, I almost burst into tears. I literally almost cried my eyes out, because no one ever wanted to know, like, deep down, because of all my projections and my mask of what I want people to see me as, and not who I am, you know? And she stuck with me, even though I barely went to Young Life, because some people there just weren't. They were non-inclusive, and I felt left out, and I went my whole life trying to feel not left out, so why would I go somewhere where I felt left out, you know? So no, where at times I got the courage to go. She was there. She stuck with me, her friends, we texted sometimes, hung out, got dinner, and all these things. Not dinner, brunch, but regardless, she was still there for me. Even though I never really reached out to, like, in my time of need, she was still in my corner, right? So that summer senior year, we were gonna go to a Young Life camp. We already went to one sophomore year. Same girl was with me. And at camp, they have this thing where you're in cabin time, and that's where you're asking questions about the message. It's most definitely a sermon, but they call it a message, not to like put people in like, oh, you're in church. Like, you're not at church. That's their whole thing. Anyways, the sermon that we had, and that's with girls that like I went to school with, but I didn't want them to know things about me, about my life. Like, I'm not letting y'all in. Hello, mask for a reason. This is all sophomore year, by the way. We have to go backwards so you can understand the forwards. And every time she asked a question, I had an answer. Oh, I had an answer, and it was a long, deep thought one, but my mouth was sealed. I physically could not open my mouth because I was so scared what people would think of me. I was like, no. Who? Me? No, never. I was dead silent, and like people were too, but like some people who already knew Christ and all this stuff were speaking up. They're like, oh, and this, oh, this, and I was like, okay, cool. Y'all can speak for me because I'm not saying a damn thing. And then jump cut to our next Young Life senior year, back into present time-ish, and same girl Brooke is there. Hey girl, hey. And she's our cabin leader, and we're in cabin time, and I thought before I even left for camp, like, oh, like, I don't know if I'm gonna talk, like, I'm just a little worried. And people that were going, I was like, I don't know if I want them to know me, but I was like, but also, like, I'm never gonna see them again. Like, we graduated, like, we're done, we're literally done. So if they know about me, they're not gonna hear or talk about me, like, in the hallways. Like, you'll be in a different state, and I'll be home. I'm fine. Every time we had common time, I was first person to speak. Those answers that I had came out of my mouth, and it was very nerve-wracking. I was crying. I don't like crying. I really, truly don't. But part of my emotions coming from other people's emotions, I also relate into other people's struggles and their own views of perception and how they feel about themselves and other people. And it was really moving, and it was really good to see. And at the end of that week in July, I'm not sure what day specifically, I made the choice to give myself life to Christ. And I was like, okay, I did it. I made it. It took so long, so incredibly long. But me and God were back. No more exes. We in. And then 2 months ago, I want to say, I was at church because I started going to church. And this is, real time, as in like today's present time. There was a sermon about pride and how God hates people with pride. And I was like, oh, okay. That's not me. It was me. Oh, it was definitely me. And there was this chart, and it was like, this is pride, and this is pride, and this is pride. And pride is not just one thing, y'all. It is a cancer of things. Oh my. And so I was like starting like, oh, that's me. Oh. And it kept going on. And I just felt really convicted that day to make those amends and call the people that like I had pride against or fix those relationships. And one of the things that are on that list of like how to become also a prideful person, because that's kind of my biggest struggle, was to get baptized. And like I told y'all, I've been baptized, little baby Duncan thing, and my coming to Christ and like those other church camps. And I thought like just saying that like I accept Christ for a group of 500 kids was good enough, but no, I gotta get zunked once again, hence the black, because I want to be in water. I don't want to look a little crazy. And that's what we're doing today in T-minus, I think, like 3 hours maybe. And y'all gotta come along with me. And I did invite people because like I'm not gonna do this alone. I have community. And currently I go to church with my friend Sharon, and I brought one of my best friends Zoe, and another good friend Bree, and another good friend Miss Lisa. And we're gonna call that friend from freshman year Brooke, because she actually lives in Fort Worth right now with her new baby, and she's been there since the beginning and has slowly been pushing me in some way towards Christ. She's got to be there for it, because she was with me when I stood in July, and she's gonna be here with me while I get dunked in this water. And that's my truth. All I know is that I've been delivered from sexual sin, as in like porn and stuff, but not like the thoughts of like my validation things, because it's a journey, guys. That is a journey that I'm currently going through. Choosing the right friends and having to go, you know, peer pressure. I'm still learning that lesson, but I'm seeing it, not clearly enough, but I'm still seeing it, and I'm working my way through fixing my friendships. And just pride is a really big thing for me, and I'm being halfway delivered, slowly but surely. The journey will end, but I'm gonna make it through. And if any of the things that I said today, like oh my goodness, like you are so effed up, like you're going through a lot, girl, like yikes. But at the end of the day, God met me where I was, in a deep dark hole of despair and wallow, and no one wants me, no one wants to be around me, no one wants to be my friend, and all this stuff. If you're in the same position, just know that God wants you. He is waiting for you. I'm not even sure how you're gonna get there, but you will get there. And if this is the first video of mine you watch, hey, nice to meet you. I do other videos where I live my life trying to live Christ-like. You can watch it, inspiration, if you want to. I don't really care. But if this is the one only video you watch of mine, I'm glad, because you'll see that a broken person like me can be saved. So that means you can be saved, no matter how broken you are. If it's worse than me, if you're better than me, I don't care. Just know that God's waiting for you, and that you can and will be saved in whatever timeline that anyone has for you. And I'll see you all in 3 hours.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yes, happy! Baptized! Everyone say hi! There's Bree, Miss Lisa, Zoe, and Miss Sharon! Thank y'all for joining me.